Okay.
John, take a look at the participants. There's a meeting host that looks strange than the participants.
Okay, we are back. I'm looking at the participants. Right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. Welcome back, everybody.
What happened? Whoa.
Okay, so here's what happened. As you know, and then we'll get back to our topic that we were just about to discuss today, which I thought was a good one. If I can remember it, I'm so in the moment that I don't remember what I was talking about. Right. Okay, very good. So here's what happened. As you guys know, we're putting together, well, maybe you don't know, we're putting together a complete membership site, dedicated Zoom accounts for different breakout rooms and everything we're doing here with the Mastermind group. And so right now we are riding on my wife's Zoom account, which is all set up beautifully. And so she had another meeting. And so she launched that meeting, not knowing, oh my goodness, and you can only be the host. You can only have that account hosting a meeting in one spot at one time. So she's logging into my Zoom account now, which is a different account. So anyway, that's what just happened. And by next week, we are not going to have any crosstalk between accounts. It's going to be really, wait do you guys see this? Everything we've been putting together behind the scenes. And I do want to acknowledge some of our awesome members here, like Stuart and Leah and Mark Riggle and Jamie Young and Adrian Garner, who hopefully got back on. Yep, there's Adrian, right? And Ego and people behind the scenes that are collaborating on this. This is it's going to be a beautiful thing. What do you guys see this? Oh man, it's going to be good. Plus, with that idea we came up with yesterday about doing maybe a kids, not maybe, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to have a kids book study or kids entrepreneurship, Think and Grow Rich for kids, something like that. So that will take shape. In fact, I don't need to be the facilitator of that. So I am open to volunteers. Now, what were we talking about? We were talking about the new normal. That's really where I was going with this. The new normal, which is something we can look at on a macro sense or in a micro sense for ourselves and for larger groups, society, whatever. So in the case of Instacart, we were discussing, that is something that has become normal in my house, right? Thanks to my wife who discovered this thing and tried it out and oh my goodness, it's good. And we get to be social too. We get to, somebody knocks on the door. Oh, hi, Bob, right? Hi, Sally. So that's cool, especially when people are, in some cases, and then this depends on, where you I guess, consider yourself in terms of at risk, for infections and what have you. My wife is a cancer survivor. Okay. So her immune system is not tip top. All right. So we're careful with that. So it's not like we're out and, we go to the park, we ride our bicycles and all that, whatever, we're breathing air, 110 degrees outside. I don't know any virus that can live in that, but, so, we're prudent. Okay. But we're not paranoid. So, and I know some people I suppose I could assign a label of paranoia. I suppose I could. And other people, I could assign a label of total flippancy or carelessness even. So anyway, there's somewhere in that spectrum. But that's a new normal thing, okay, for this household. What about, and here's where I'm going with this on the personal development side, what have you allowed to become the new normal for you? Just talking about the individual now, just the individual person, which, as we've already identified, if you look at the component parts of any group, it's made up of individuals. Okay, so how about that individual? How about that individual? How about Jody? How about Cathy? Right? Star. What has become your normal in terms of not necessarily, shopping groceries or whatever, but in terms of your innermost expectations of yourself, your own abilities, your willingness to reach. Now I'm going back to my childhood, okay, and we've discussed some of our pasts on here before. We've even had some teary sessions and stuff. I'm going back to having a very low self-image as a child, being physically and emotionally threatened, abused, bullied from multiple directions. Very low self-image, and I could look at that as an advantage or a disadvantage, right? How could that be an advantage? I'll get to that in just a second. But the disadvantage was being timid, right? Being unwilling to express myself. which I think is one of the best things you can give a kid. I know we were talking about children yesterday, but like Amy Rose, who we've gotten to know, Esther's daughter, right? So that she occurs to me as, self-expressed, like not like a suppressed, cowed down, buried under type personality. Okay. Now, certainly there's disciplines that go in, like here's, good, ethics and, in society and, you be kind and polite and such, right? But at the same time, there is self-expression. There's ownership of one's own ability to reach into the public and have an opinion, have a message, have an offer, right? What are you offering the public? What is normal for you to offer the public? In many ways, I think this forum right here has, I would say, rehabilitated, or let me better say, redoubled my interest in working with new entrepreneurs. I've done consulting work for a long time. Okay. And you can, well, I'll speak for myself, I can get jaded on some of this stuff, especially if you're dealing with, people who are just kind of dilettantes, weekenders, part-time, sometime, right? We see a lot of this like in the network marketing world, okay, where people have a very low barrier to entry and a very low level of commitment, right? So let's somebody throws, $1,000 on the table, to get into a network marketing type of program, and they walk all the time. I've seen people walk from 50 grand, not in the network marketing world per se, but in like high ticket direct sales and things like that. They walk. Okay. Now I know a lot of people here are clearly more committed to your journey and to your ability to express yourself as a successful entrepreneur, as a consistently successful entrepreneur. That's the trick. Consistently successful. So what is the norm then? Well, if we look at what we find acceptable or normal, or not something that we're going to protest against and say, oh, that needs to be fixed right now. These things that have become part of our paradigm, right? Which is a collection of habits. It's how we see the world, our paradigm, right? If we examine that, if we look at that, man, by the way, this takes work. Okay. So what is it that I'm habitually doing without thinking about it and without protesting against that has become normal for me? And is that serving me? And is that serving my public, my audience, my prospective customer, whatever? Back to my childhood, right? Yes, it was a disadvantage. I was not a very self-expressed kid. On the other side, though, I did learn how to communicate with people in such a way that I could, well, in my case, avoid punishment or being bullied and things like that. I did learn how, de-escalation. I learned how to sell as a child, right? That's what I learned. So there's an advantage. There's an advantage right there. Okay. So there's two sides to every coin, and no one goes through life unscathed. Okay. But what I'm thinking is that became normal to me. That's an advantage. The ability to communicate with another person and to communicate in such a way that they could actually accept and use whatever I was offering. And it was for my own, personal survival or self-preservation at a young age. But does that not serve me going into the future? Well, of course it does. Of course it does. I became a student of personal development psychology, why people succeed, why people fail. Why? I kept asking why. I had a lot of whys in my life. I'll tell you what, is there anyone here who hasn't? Is there anyone here who hasn't just sat and thought, why is it like this? I think as introspective people, we've all done that. Now, some people would say, why bother asking why? I would say that's a more apathetic type personality than who shows up here. Okay. But can we not sit and just introspect for a moment, not introvert? There's a difference. Okay. But introspect, to look inside, and then also to extrovert, to look outside and start asking why. Why is that normal? Why is that acceptable? We could take this to huge extremes, right? Again, on a macro sense, we could take this into, why is the world the way it is? Why are countries and governments run the way they are? Why do people accept something as normal or right without even having some, a look, right? I mean, we got to be willing to look. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to look. Are you willing to look? And this is the question that I've asked myself, because I had a meeting, it was right after our session yesterday. I had a training session with a group of new-ish salespeople in a completely unrelated field. We're doing financial services. Okay, and these guys wanted to get my thoughts on how I communicate with a prospective customer. And one of the first things that I went to was the idea, and try this on for yourself, okay? Whether you're in person-to-person sales or not, okay? This is just something that is normal for me to do. So let's say I'm talking to Susie, okay? I would have a conversation with Susie about what's important to her based on her already existing normal, her already existing reality. I would get into communication with Susie about things that are real to her, not necessarily to me. I may have a completely different reality in terms of money and finance and whatever. Okay. But once I know more about this person, like what's important to them, okay, then I know where we're starting from on the map. And if they're looking for, in this case, the offer of financial services, we could talk more about, what's the destination, what's the ideal, outcome, what's the target we're shooting at, right? So like if you had a map of Chicago, but you were trying to navigate New York, I don't care how hard you try, right? You're not getting where you want to go. You don't even know where you are right now, right? Wrong map. So a lot of times we need a compass instead of a map. In fact, my friend Steve wrote a book called Shifting Sands. Steve Donahue, I don't know how many of you have ever read his work, Shifting Sands. And it was about how he trekked through the Sahara Desert and he met the Tuareg, gypsy bandits. And he was there on the sand dunes at night and he could hear the bandits in the distance and all this, and how they wound up, becoming friends and having dinner, under the stars. And anyway, but the point was that the shifting sands, like you can't use a map in the Sahara Desert. It's all just a bunch of sand. So now what, right? You need a compass. Okay, and you might find a rock mountain here and there, which could show up on a map, but to a large degree, you need a compass, right? So if we're getting in communication with someone about, where their compass is headed, where they're at now, where they're looking to go, okay, what's going to happen? Okay, so this is kind of like hardcore sales training here. But for anybody who's looking to have more influence in your life and with people that you intend to serve, right? That's got to be the underlying foundation of all this, is that you're going in the spirit of service. You're not, trying to manipulate or take advantage of someone, right? And I say that just as, that's my own morals and ethics. Okay, I guess you could use the stuff for bad too. All right, hopefully you don't. But the idea that I intend to serve this person, how can I assist them in, predisposition and pre-motivation to even listen to what I could offer them, right? How do I do that? I get in communication with someone about something that's already real to them, and their affinity for me must go up. Must, always works. Always. Okay, I don't throw out too many absolutes over here. Okay, we just think about that, Susie or Esther or Tom, right? So if we were talking about something that's already real to you, are you going to like me more or less? More. And by the way, that's not for me to agree with you, okay, but to acknowledge you. Think about how you do this, maybe with kids, maybe with a customer, maybe with whoever, right? Somebody says, this is what's real to me. This is my problem. I understand. Thank you. Okay, you may disagree, but they got heard. And you're in communication with them about something that's already real to them. And then, right, they're like, all right, this person understands me. People want to be heard. Oh my goodness, look at social media. Do people want to be heard? Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, so people want to be heard. Can you get in communication with them and let them know they've been heard? Just the act of acknowledging someone. Think about this, married couple, bickering. Yeah, you did this. Oh, but that. All right, and they're back and forth. They're preparing their argument while the other person's still talking. They're thinking of their rebuttal, their retort, right? And does that build affinity? No. Think of affinity as the tolerance of closeness and participation together, right? So the opposite of that would be intolerance of closeness. All right. So does that bickering? And does that, I'm loading my guns with my retort while you're still talking? Does that help? No, of course not. but just the act of acknowledgement. Try this on. Try this on. This could be like a breakthrough of all breakthroughs. Like if you've got like relationship issues or something, just try this one thing on before you respond. Thank you, or I understand. Or if you'd like for them to explain more, there's something called a half acknowledgement. How so? Right? So a thank you, that would be a full acknowledgement. That's basically a stop. Okay, I got it. That's the end of that, here's the cause point of the communication. Here's the receipt point of it. I said, all right, that has been received. Thank you. Or okay, or whatever the acknowledgement is. That's a full acknowledgement. Okay, and then we can reverse, right? Cause, effect, back and forth it goes, right? The sending and receiving of data, of ideas, okay? But without that acknowledgement, that transmission never ended. It's an incomplete cycle, okay? Just the act of acknowledgement. Now, a half acknowledgement would be, oh, how so? Or tell me more, or even like a gesture, right? I mean, a lot of communication isn't the words we say. Oh, right, so that's it. Oh, well, yeah, and I'll tell you why. Oh, and so it goes. So you can actually take command of a communication of a conversation that's going on by your use of acknowledgments and half acknowledgments. But that is going to cause what? Understanding. People are going to understand each other better. People will come together. There's that affinity. There's that tolerance of being together, participating, closeness. If you get good at nothing, get good at that. My goodness, that is completely unfair advantage, completely unfair. So a lot of times people have asked me, like these guys I was counseling yesterday, how do you have so many people that just buy from you, your stuff, or whatever the offer happens to be? And that's the formula. It's as simple as that. Get in communication with someone about something that's already real or normal or accepted to them, right? No argument, acknowledgement. Yes, acknowledgement. Not necessarily argument, not necessarily agreement, not neither one, okay? But know where this person's at. And then, right, now there's a higher level of knowing, liking, and trusting. People say that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's kind of a cliche in the sales world, okay? But know, like, and trust has been augmented. And now we can look further. We could say, okay, great, we've established where we are. What's the ideal scene? I mean, let's say, 30, 60, 90 days, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, where are we at? Like, why are we even showing up here? What are we doing? Right? Again, this is in the context of an offer for things that would be beneficial to people who want to create and increase their immediate and ongoing financial, liberty. So that's a good conversation to have, right? Man who shoots at nothing is sure to hit it, right? We got to have a target, but first we got to know who's shooting, right? And what spot are we standing in? Okay. And then we can start talking about targets. Is this making any sense, you guys? Thank you. I got all that from Instacart, right? What's the normal now? Okay. Because that's a sale that's being made. You know what, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you just go ahead, you stay right there in your house. We're going to take care of all this shopping for you. It's only going to cost you $3 or $5 or whatever it is. Okay. I don't even know what it costs to do Instacart or any of these delivery services. So I'm grateful that I've got a wife I can trust to handle that kind of stuff. The point is that's become a normal thing. And so we were able to bridge perhaps a time deficit, right? Because now I'm spending an hour driving to the store, shopping, checking out, coming back to the store. I'll take that hour. Thank you. Is my hour worth $5, $10, whatever it is? Oh, you're damn right it is. You're damn right. What do you guys think about this? I know we're a bit afield of stuff that we normally talk about, but Star has a thought that she would like to share. So let's go to Star, and then whoever else wants to raise your hand, come on down. Hey, Star.
Hey, so the new normal for me is fully understanding that I have control of my future. And that's what this lockdown has brought me. I have total control of my future, and I will succeed at whatever I set my mind to, which is currently Amazon. And on that note, I have just received this morning my first invoice ready for payment for my first product round. I've just got to do a few money transfers and I'm placing that order. So I am in control. And before lockdown, I felt so out of control of my life. And before taking on this course, or the course that shall not be mentioned, prior to this, that led into this call, you know, the help and support from each and every one of you as you gain that confidence to know that you are in control. And yeah, without a doubt, it's been my biggest new normal, and it's thanks to everybody. So
Thank
yeah.
you, Star. And so you're such an asset to everyone you meet. Everybody loves Star, right? Let's give Star some love in the chat. All right, you're getting a lot of cheers for your success, your victories, your imminent success.
Lots of
Yeah.
sales, lots of sales
Yeah.
next. That's what we need.
That's right. Here comes the money.
35
Let's go
days
to
away.
here comes the money for Star and for Cathy. Let's go to Cathy. Hey, Cathy, and then we'll go to Christina. Hey, Cathy Marble.
Yes.
There she is.
It's not unmuted. Right?
You're good. You're unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You said so much, and it's all very good. And yes, I was catching on to the new normal for me, having to do with some of the things that were written in The Power of Consistency. And the box, you know, it's like what's in the box, and what you take out of the box is what you're going to get. And so it's like, what box? Where's the box? And so you kind of, you know, like you were talking about your history, your experience, your memories, those kind of things that are in the box will come out and they'll produce. And so you have to examine what is in your box. And for me, I had to consider it was all in the same box. It was like the box may have been, you know, just marked survival. I got through that. You know, don't think about that. Move on. You know, drove through a snowstorm on, you know, from Michigan to Chicago. Didn't fall off the road. Yay. Don't think about that anymore. You know, those were the kind of things in my box. But the reality is driving through whiteout snowstorms, you learn how to focus. Or you do fall off the road, or you cannot derail your thinking because you cannot see. You have to choose to keep moving forward, because the destiny is the purpose. And so, you know, there were things in that survival box that I didn't credit myself as valuable. It was like, yeah, got through it. You know, don't think about that because it was bad, you know, but like you were saying, yes, you learned how to sell in the midst of your challenges. And those are the things that I am, you know, revisiting and reevaluating for forward motion, for future victories, and, you know, relabeling that survival box, which is like, you know, one step up from victim to, you know, the victory or the good thing box, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, John. And all hello.
So glad you're here, Cathy. I was just thinking about driving through blizzards, and that's why I moved back to Arizona. So there you go. I don't do that anymore. I haven't seen a flake of snow, and I can't tell you when.
But you remember that, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and I love to fly into here's Breckenridge or Park City, or, you know, do the snowboarding thing, drink the hot cocoa, get the hell out of here. Right. Get me back to the desert. So thank you. All right. Where's Christina Russell? Hey,
Sure. Hi, good morning. Thank you so much. Loving everything this morning. I wanted to circle back around to your thoughts on communication and the idea of, like, for example, the husband and wife, and already preparing in your mind what you might retort. So I'm a massage therapist, and I went through a training called Phenomenal Touch Massage. And within that, we have like 75 principles. And a lot of it is on communication with my client. Like, how can I best meet this client? And my ultimate goal is to serve that person that's on the table, which means deep listening and coming from a place of reverence and compassion and love. And in order to do that, I have to really listen to what this person is asking for and maybe what's between the lines as well. So in my training, which I found incredibly valuable, they talked about mirroring and validation. So it doesn't matter if you're having communication with a client, a family member, a stranger, if you take the time and they're expressing a point of view, instead of jumping in right away with a fix it or let me tell you what I think, you validate, you say, you know, you can say, well, first of all, you can mirror back, you can say, gosh, what I hear you saying is blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I can totally understand how you feel that way. And like you're saying, John, you don't have to agree with them. So, you know, we are coming into this crazy political time and we may be running into people with opposing views. And like, can we bring some, I don't know, some kind of civility to conversation where we can take the time to maybe just listen and mirror and validate and maybe find a thread of common ground. And I mean, this can be in so many different relationships. So I find that just such a powerful tool and like a principle for life, to live life, communicating that way. So thanks for bringing that back up to the surface for me, because it's really good to have those reminders. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Great perspectives here today, guys. And every day, let's face it, we're a pretty awesome group. So who's next? We got Nicola, Adrian, and Caroline. Hey, Nicola.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I don't know how you do it, John, but your timing is always just spot on. So
my crystal ball. I got over.
Yes, exactly. in my head today. Yeah, it was just this is unrelated to Amazon. It's another business I'm setting up. And it's very different. It's selling handmade well-being products. Went into the lockdown quite confident about it with a clear plan, knew exactly what I wanted to do. But for some reason, it should have launched in May and it hasn't. And I've blamed the designer for being slow. I've blamed the website not being ready. And then just this week, the realization kicked in that actually what's stopping us from launching is my own insecurities, because it's completely different to anything I've ever done before. I come from the corporate world. So actually, and I'll be the face of the brand. It's obviously quite a personal handmade brand. So I think the realization's kicked in that it's me and my insecurities about putting myself out there. And then the point you mentioned about selling, that again is a whole new ball game to me. So I think those are put two kind of mental blocks.
I'm sorry. I was attempting to mute Loy and I accidentally muted Nicola. Loy, I'm going to go ahead and mute your mic. We got a little background noise there. Sorry, Nicola, please.
All right. I thought you got bored of me. But yeah, I thought that's kind of became my new normal, which is not the normal that I need. So I've realized that this week, and I'm the one that's getting in the way. So today I've actually taken some action because I've just been procrastinating for the past 2 months. So it's just even acknowledging that I've put those blockers in the way and I've changed my way of thinking has helped me take quite a big step forward today. So I think there's still things I need to work on, understand where those insecurities are coming from, because I never had them in the corporate world. But just, it's just probably the point that you said earlier, just figuring out what that new normal has become helps you decide, is it one that you want to keep or is it one that you need to release? So yeah, just thought I'd share my journey over the past few months with that. So very, very different to Amazon. And one thing I did just think there in the end is one of the differences is we've got this massive support group around setting up an Amazon business, and I don't have anything equivalent for the other business. So it is literally me with a bit of support from a friend. So I think it just shows the power of this collective group and encouraging people and giving that support where you need it. I think that is invaluable. It really is.
Thank you, Nicola. And yeah, I mean, we don't have like a different truth over here and a different truth over there. It's the same person showing up. It's the same awesome Nicola Black that keeps showing up, right? So be that. You're talking about normal, and I'm seeing here in the chat, and this may be out of context because I can't like hear and talk and read at the same time. I like listen to one message at a time, but Jane and Neal said, it's strange sitting here earning money. So that's a new paradigm, right? I'm used to working my ass off. What? You mean non-linear income? In other words, I get leverage, I get money, and I'm not working, I'm not laboring right now. Ooh, right? So that's not normal, or will it be? I hope so, right? And I think a lot of us have had to really, introspect a bit and look at that. Am I willing to allow product, services, value to be delivered into the marketplace without my own physical presence? Because for the first 40 something years of my life, I worked my ass off, and that's called survival. That's good and right. Okay, but is that the end of the road? Is that it? I hope not, right? So thank you guys. Beautiful talk today. Let's go to my friend Adrian Garner, and then we're going to hear from Caroline and Coyla.
Hey, John, can you hear me okay?
I sure can, brother.
Great. On the new normal, I just wanted to say, really, from my perspective, the whole world shrank at the start. I lived in a tiny, tiny space, not going anywhere, too afraid to go out, being told not to go out, ordering groceries online. And my whole perspective changed. The things that you took for granted you did every day, you just stopped doing, dead like that. Life changed in a day. The interesting thing was that I then sort of went through a black hole in a way and came out in a new normal on the other side, which is the internet and this community, the global community, and a much bigger community than I'd ever really lived in before. Because when I thought about it, the touch points I had during a normal day were actually quite limited. I'd see to speak to very few people on my way around. But when it was taken away from me, I got withdrawal symptoms from that, saying, hey, I can't go out, this is not right. But actually, I'm in far greater contact now with people in this new online community than I ever really was before. And that, in relation to what Cathy said about the box, I think the whole box has changed. It's enabled us to do something that we could never have done before, to communicate with this incredible group, with people far wider than this group online. The challenge is learning how to communicate in this new world, in this new order. Different skills will be needed. So that's what we need to learn. How to communicate when we're not face to face. We're so used to sitting next to somebody. That's the interesting challenge, is learning how to participate. But as Jane and Neal were pointing out, we can be selling all night, we can be selling all day, we can be communicating all day and all night. It's a fantastic, wonderful opportunity we've got. And it's really, I think we always knew about it, but did any of us really do anything about it? Possibly not.
Well, some of us have. And I know, Adrian, you and I, or Nicola and Cathy and Esther, we can have a conversation over, in this case, Zoom, YouTube, whatever, just as normally as if we were sitting across the table. But that's become normal for us, right? I'd been doing that for some years, prior to COVID and whatever. But I think for a lot of people, and how many of you can relate to this, like what Adrian was just talking about, like this whole idea of, I'm going to get on a live, interwebs broadcast thing and talk about life with strangers, right? Well, they're not going to be strangers for long. You're not going to be a stranger for long, right? Adrian, thank you for your insights. Always so good to hear you. Let's go to, we got a few more hands up. We got Caroline, Coyla, Ivy, Glenn, Sharon, Jane, and Neal. Let's go to Caroline and then Coyla.
Hey, hi everyone. Hope you're all okay. So yeah, my new normal, gosh, well, 4 months ago, whenever it was, I was busy squirreling away, self-employed, working 5-6 hours a day, doing quite intensive design work, online marketing, website management. And I thought that I was proud of myself. I was pulling in a couple of grand a month, not big bucks, but for me, it was big bucks. And then COVID comes and that literally disappeared, not straight away because there was stuff for me still to be doing, but I'm now sitting at 30% of that. And I don't really mind. It's like I've just completely let go of that old version of myself who was doing that old work. Like I'm not really interested in it anymore because I'm so excited and passionate about becoming an entrepreneur. It's like my normal's completely changed. I'm just scribbling on bits of paper. Like my focus now is on discipline, growth, consistency, authentic communication, attaining financial freedom, thinking about unlimited possibilities. I'm studying, I'm doing a course on investing in the stock market. I'm doing, I don't know, just loads of stuff before, I think I was in that survival mode. And I saw a quote today, John, in some old notes of yours, because I've been going through all my notes and rewriting them and rationalizing. And you talked about the comfort zone. When the comfort zone is crumbling, that's a really good base for taking a leap of faith into a new life. So that's what I guess what's happening. I mean, I've had obviously a bit of government support at the moment and this self-employed thing. So in September, that'll be like D-Day, because it'd be like, shit, that's it. No more government support to kind of hold me up. I'm going to have to either focus on my other work and try and figure out ways of getting more money, or just go like full on, like get my Amazon thing together. So yeah, so that's my new normal is completely different to my life before, really. And also the other big change is that to have this online community is very different. Like I struggled at first to just talk authentically to camera, knowing that there was 200 or 100 or 50 people listening. And I've always been a face-to-face person, and I was a bit dissing of online Zoom groups and all that stuff. But actually, I really value it now. So to me, that's that new normal is fantastic, and long may it continue.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
And look, I feel like I know Caroline for years now. I mean, we've known you for what, a month, 2 months, whatever it's been. Okay, but I have no, like right now, if we, let's say all the distance was gone and we were going to go, I don't know, play golf or something. Well, I probably wouldn't do that. But let's say we're going to go be social. I know Caroline, just like I talk to Caroline every day. Caroline, I've got people who I've worked with for years. We've made millions of dollars together over the internet. I've never met them in person. But if I did, they'd be like, hey, Bob, you know, good to see you, man. Oh yeah, just yesterday we were talking about the other thing. So the technological via just kind of collapses when that becomes a normal thing. But you are such a valued part of this community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Glad you're here. Another valued member of the community is Coyla Drake. Hi, Coyla. What's going on with you over there in England?
Hi there. I'm glad to be here and glad to see everybody. And yeah, new normal. My new normal, really not related to COVID particularly, because my life has just carried on like pretty much as it normally is, apart from not being able to go shopping. But I've kind of realized recently that I've had a very underlying level of anxiety going on, and that's to do with having ended up with no income after the people I was looking after died, and I ended up with no income, and I had no income for about 6 weeks before I got a job, and that was not pleasant. And then I got a job and did those jobs and I worked on getting confidence back and did a lot of things, and you know, yeah, I'm getting it. But the other day I was standing doing my job, working in the bakehouse, standing next to a hot oven, wiring biscuits at 100 miles an hour, like you do, and I felt kind of like opening up, like you know, I just felt like light and like I'd lost a heavy weight from myself, and I thought, you know, I'm not afraid anymore, and I didn't really realize how afraid I was of losing my income again. So I don't care if I lose this job anymore. I'm not going to lose a job, but you know, I'm completely not minding if I feel like I need to stop that job and step out and do something that I'm not entirely sure it's going to be secure to me. I just have this feeling that it's going to be okay now, and I didn't have before. I had a kind of closed up, anxious feeling. So there you go. That's my new normal.
Wow, it sounds very releasing, very freeing, light, like you said. You're feeling light. That's what a great position to operate from. It's not so damn attached. So thank you, Coyla. Quick question for you, Coyla. Do you use an external or a built-in microphone on your computer?
It's built in on the computer.
Okay, because it sounds like maybe a bad connector or something. Did you all hear that when she's talking? It gets scratchy and then it comes back. So it could just be the internet connection. I'm not sure. But if it was an external mic, I was thinking maybe clean the plug or something. We'll see how that goes. Usually we hear you pretty good. Let's go to Ivy and then Glenn and then Sharon. Hey, Ivy. Has Ivy got a hat? I want to see a hat here.
No hat today. I promise. Towards the end of the week, I will have
Friday.
Yes, Friday. I promise. I was just thinking how it's been, yeah, what my new normal is like. For starters, the entire structure of my day has changed. So I find myself doing all my personal stuff. So reading up, meditating, praying, organizing myself for the day. I have two distinct sessions. So one is between midnight and about 2:30, 3 a.m. And the second, bank of time is between 7 in the morning and 10. And then I go off and I do the day job. But then at lunchtime, I actually take a lunch break. I never used to do this when I went into the office. And that's when I go for my run. So that when I get back, I have a shower and then I'm ready for our daily calls. So that then sets me up for my personal time going on from midnight, because once I shut down my laptop at about maybe 8, 9, sometimes 10, I have a couple of hours, then I then decide what I want to do. And what I find myself doing is either reading some more or, doing some kind of webinar or just listening to Earl on YouTube or, some kind of podcasts, for those 2 hours. So by the time I get to midnight, I'm in that headspace to actually plan the next day. And I never use, sleep for me was a hobby. If I could stay in bed all day, I was happy. I used to call it Club Duvet. Me and my duvet had, a strong connection. So it's really strange. And I'm functioning, I think, better. I'm more alert. I've got more energy. I think I'm getting a lot more done, even though I don't know how, but I am. And then I find in my communication with people, I'm not apologizing for being myself. I'm actually going into meetings, I'm going on calls, I'm interacting with people when I do meet them or over WhatsApp or whatever it is. And I'm not apologizing for being me anymore. I'm just being me and I'm just saying what I have to say. But what I am finding I'm doing a lot more is finding ways to encourage people around me. And I've been getting a lot of that feedback coming round to say, how do you do it? How do you find in everything I've said, you pick up the one thing that's going to make my day better? So clearly my mindset, and I'm just open to picking up, those instances and conversations, and I leave them with a little, you can feel better about this. In everything you've said, I'd like you to go away focusing on this because, it may not be going as well in XYZ areas, but you've accomplished this. So hold on to that and keep going. And people go, every time I talk to you, I leave feeling better. So it's amazing what my new normal is now. I'm very rarely getting, negative feedback or people not wanting to take my calls or, me not speaking up in meetings or none of that. It's like, colleagues or friends or family, they can't sing my praises enough. And I'm like, I haven't really changed. I'm still me, but I think I have. And it's the books, it's the conversations here. It's just the process. And it's consistently applying everything we're talking about and everything that we're reading. So my new normal is exciting, I must say.
Wow. I'm excited. Wow. Do you hear that, everybody? Well done, Ivy. And it doesn't have to take a long time, right? Some people think, here's an affirmation that I got some years ago when I was thinking, I got so many shortcomings and I got so much work I need to do on myself. And I had personal development principles, but an affirmation that I was offered was, my old programming falls away from my personality easily and effortlessly. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Now I don't have so much work to do. I'm doing pretty good. It falls away easily and effortlessly. So try that on, right?
What was that again, John? Just repeat that.
My old programming falls away from my personality easily and effortlessly.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. And speaking of profundities, we've got Mr. Glenn Henderson in the house. What's going on, Glenn? And we'll go to Sharon and Jane. What's up, Glenn?
John, my brother, good to see you. I imagine my face looks new to many in the group. John and I have known one another for several years now as friends and colleagues, and I consider you, John, a tremendous friend and mentor, and I'm grateful that you've invited me to join this team. Glad to be here. My new normal you'll know this, John, because we've talked about it a little bit. My new normal is actually my old normal. Just didn't know it was my old normal, or was not allowing my, here's what I mean. John knows that I have been in the home business space for quite a while, and have had varying levels of success and income, never quite what I wanted, or never quite what I thought I would capable of. And here's what has happened in the past few weeks. I've had the opportunity to do some training, have some deeper conversations with John and with other friends that I know. And over the past couple of months, one of the things that has become crystal clear for me in my life is the knowledge and the confidence in exactly who I am and exactly what I believe and what I stand for. And it's interesting that not much of that was new in terms of things that I had believed and thought of myself before. It is simply that now I have given myself permission, Ivy, to be who I am, unapologetically, without fear,
Exactly.
and without the need to justify who I am. Absolutely. And what I believe, what I stand for, what I want from my life and for those I care about. And I'll tell you what has happened suddenly, almost as if by magic, though I know it's not magic. I have been having conversations concerning my business and what I offer with extremely accomplished, successful, professional people. The president of a major organization here in Houston just enrolled with me as a customer and partner in my business. Would I have been able even to have that conversation with him 6 months ago? I don't know. What I do know is that that conversation, when it took place last week, was easy. It was simple. The thoughts flowed from both of us, and he was excited about getting into business with me. The other thing that's happened is that I'm now getting phone calls and reach outs and contacts from people who want to meet me, who want to network. I was asked to, I got a call out of the clear blue sky and invited, and I was invited to join and become a partner member of another major networking organization here in Houston. It sounds like magic. It sounds like miracles, but now I know and I understand that what it is me allowing myself to release the law of attraction, to release the science of getting rich, to release the power of positive thinking, the power of a positive mental attitude to do its work in my universe. And it's been easy. The word comes back. It's been easy. It's been simple and very gratifying watching this happen. So if you understand what I mean, I've always been capable of this, always. The difference is now I allow myself to believe that and to stand in that and to live in that. And that's what I am encouraging people now. It began with me not building the foundation of my belief in who I am. It began with me sweeping the dirt off the top of the foundation. Is any of this making any sense?
Totally. Totally. So absolutely. In fact, that's the whole point of this group. If you ask me, John, what's the point? What's the purpose of this? Right? It's to reestablish purpose, focus, and results for people who are already quite able, okay, and to rehabilitate cause, right? If we get buried under and we start considering ourselves as the effect, right, of all these outside influences, how much do we reach? How much do we put that value out into the marketplace? Glenn, what you're talking about, I'm ready to pass the collection basket, everybody.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That's it. That's it. We've seen the light over here. But yeah, and it's not a forced thing. That's what Glenn's talking about. It's powerful. It's not forced. Big difference. So that occurs as what? An easy flowing experience, right? All we got to do is rehabilitate and reestablish cause on an ever increasing gradient, which isn't easy, man. Life is very seductive. It's very, I mean, thinking and introspecting and all these considerations and ideas and who am I, right? So Glenn, thank you for being here, man. You got a new fan club here in the chat roll as well. So that's Glenn Henderson, everybody, Houston, Texas. We've got 3 more people with their hands up. We're gonna go to Sharon, then Jane and Neal, and then Joe and Gina. Hey, Sharon, what is going on? Where's Sharon?
Hey guys.
There she is.
Wow, Glenn, that's a tough act to follow. My new normal, which has been with you guys, of course, I feel like I've been in a bubble of learning, and I'm about to step out of that bubble. I won't be with you guys as much soon, but beginning today, I'll be with a group of students, a small group, as we begin our transition into marching band. We're not doing any marching. We're doing very little playing because of the limitations with the virus. But as we transition next week into full-time, it's going to be interesting to see how I can take what I've learned here and incorporate that in my classroom with my students. And I can't wait to do that. But it's the mindset that I have now and the way I view my students and what I want to give them, but I think even more so what they can give back to me. It's a very much a two-way street in what I do in a band room. It's not a traditional classroom where I'm kind of just lecturing. It's very much here's what we're going to do, guys. See if you can incorporate this into your new, instrument, whatever. And boy, much food for thought here. And I can't wait to see how that's going to affect my the students' lives. So I'm excited to take what I've learned here, guys. I just want to thank every single one of you. It's just amazing the mindset difference in what we've gotten here, guys. So thanks as I go into a whole new normal again.
Right. Well, thank you, Sharon. And please bring us feedback. And of course, we're going to be initiating evening sessions and different things for people in different time zones and everything else. But you've got a direct communication line to me and several others. So I'm very interested to hear how these principles show up in use in a completely unrelated. We're not even talking about business now. We're talking about teaching kids music, right? By the way, Habiba, you guys met Habiba once or twice this week. She's also a music teacher. So maybe you guys got some notes you can pass back and forth. Good stuff. Let's go to Jane and Neal in the UK, and then we're going to wrap up with Joe and Regina. What's going on, Jane and Neal?
Hi, John. It's always me that speaks out of the two of us, isn't it? Now you can see who's in charge. Everything that's been on, hang on, I'll move over a bit. Everything that's been on is so deep and so profound today. So what I'm going to say, I think is quite simple, but basically our new normal is that our life is changing every day. And from the time that COVID started and me working at home, I suppose I'm not getting a train to work. That's 2 hours every day that I've now saved and working here. And I just think that from then on, we're now seeing yourself and the group, which is definitely the new normal. We turn up here at 5 o'clock here, everybody's in-depth knowledge into their affirmations and way forward and what they're doing. And yeah, one of our products sold while we were on. I mean, that would never have happened. That is, and yes, they've been selling over the last few days. That seems to be the new normal for us. Yes, we're having to work harder. Yes, we're changing things all the time. And the other day I heard an affirmation which I thought was very simple, and it's a 10-word, 2-letter affirmation, and it seems to be the absolute right thing at the moment. And it is, if it is to be, it's up to me. And that's it. That's all I've got to say. I haven't got anything any deeper or profound.
Well, thank you. It's all about the result, right? How do these ideas show up in your life and in your results? There's fruit on the tree. And thank you, Jane and Neal. And you know what, Jane, you're getting a lot of love for that haircut. There you go. So, there you go.
My new normal is having my toes tickled by my puppy as I sit here every day.
Right. Good stuff.
Yeah, the dogs love it. We're never out now.
There you go. All right, we're going to wrap up with Joe and Regina over in Florida. Hey, Joe and Regina, what's going on? Regina and Joe. So unlike where Jane and Neal,
Okay,
Neal
I got
almost
it.
always speaks. It's always Regina that speaks. Come on, Regina. Right.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Joe doesn't want to say anything, so I'm going to talk for us. Our new normal basically is just trying to reinvent ourselves. We've always been entrepreneurs. We've always had business of our own. And I personally, not my husband, I can't speak for him because I know that's not true for him, but I've always been less than as accomplished as what I feel I could be. And I always felt like there was more that I could offer and more that I could give. And I just never been able to get it until now. I mean, with Amazon and with the group here, we're both only children and we don't have anybody else to bounce off of and to have as, you know, people that we feel like we can confide in without kind of loading on anybody. And I think the group is like amazing. Just the fact that you're just out there and you're open to help each other and to give advice. Oh, I love that puppy. Give advice. And, you know, it's just awesome. And we're just trying to get this going. Unfortunately, it's a little bit harder for us than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be simple, but it's not. We're hitting a lot of blocks along the way. And each one that comes at us, I find to be more of a challenge than anything else, because that's what life's all about. You know, when something happens, you look at it not as a, you know, a burying ground or something that's just going to put you down for life. You just look at it as a challenge, and each challenge you attain and you beat makes you that much better, you know, that much stronger to the top. And hopefully with art and with having all of you here, especially you, John, for putting this together, I think everybody's going to be fine in the group. We're all just going to be so successful and so much better than we were before we met you. And leave it with that. Thank you, John, for extending this group and for offering more and more and more. And any way that we can help, let me know.
Well, thank you. Always good to see you, Regina and Joe.
Thank you, John.
Good to see you guys. All right, we are over an hour. I do see Adrian's got a comment. Adrian, you got some profundity you want to lay on us here to send us off into make a production.
My new norm is coming to this group every day, getting inspired by everybody in this group and learning from you all. Thank you very much. That's my new norm.
Thank you, brother. I am so glad you're here. I am so glad we have met. That's Adrian, by the way. We got 3 Adrians on this broadcast right now. That's one of them. Good stuff, you guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. I will see you again here tomorrow, same bat time. Invite a friend. We still have people who are looking for this group but don't know where it is. So if you're here or if you're seeing this on YouTube, anyone you just saw talk, they can get you access to this. And again, by end of week, we will have more order and a schedule and all kinds of stuff. But for right now, it's a free for all. Thank you, my friends. And thank you for inspiring me.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.